everyone, my name is Samantha Cutrara and I am the author of Transforming the Canadian History Classroom, Imagining a New We. It is unfortunate that we can't be at Congress together, I don't know, like signing books or talking about it at the book table while you purchase it. It's sad that we can't do that, but I will tell you a not so secret, my book isn't even printed yet, so this is still just like the mock-up of the cover on another book. But, I mean, whatever, no shame. I'm really excited about it coming out, and I hope that you are too. Transforming the Canadian History Classroom, Imagining a New We is a radical, student-centric call for history education that helps students transform the world through the narratives that they learn in school. I bring in things like post-structural theory and critical race theory to make this argument, as well as the voice of youth themselves, who keep saying, we want to learn history. We just want the histories that you're teaching us in the classroom to be better, to be more connected, to be more complex. We want you to care about these connections and complexities when you're teaching us. As one student that I interviewed said, if you're going to teach history, you better bring it to the table. I contrast these desires to learn history with the case studies of a couple teachers who unwittingly kind of reinforce a white center of Canadian history, removing connections, denying complexities in ways that students feel increasingly disconnected from the teaching and learning that they are getting in their classrooms. I do say, however, that if we want to center meaningful learning in our history classrooms, schools have to be a place for meaningful teaching for teachers as well. I worked in mainstream schools as well as alternative schools, and I found that the more spaces, places, and time teachers had to get to know their students outside the curricular roles of teacher and student, the more transformative classroom practices could be. In this book, I also reintroduced the concept of historic space that I've been working on since like 2004, saying that a post-structural approach to teaching history, an approach that focuses less on the things that teachers know and more on the questions students have, can allow for this more robust, meaningful learning in Canadian history classrooms. You know, it is very sad that we aren't all together for Congress, but I see this book as the beginning of a conversation, not as an end. Although sometimes in the writing of it, I'm just like, okay, I'm glad when this will be over, but it's not going to be over. This is the beginning of a conversation. And what the pandemic and the social revolutions that are happening during the pandemic have highlighted is that the more that we are working together to be able to explore these ideas, the stronger our practices will be. During the pandemic, I started a video series called Pandemic Pedagogy. This video series was within a video series that I started in January called Imagining a New We, based on my book. The pandemic pedagogy conversations have been so rich. There have been 35 historians, teachers, history professors, archivists, community creators that have talked about, there's a cat here because I am working from home, that have talked about whether their ideas about history have changed during this time, how they think that teaching history will change after this time, and whether or not they think that the pandemic will provide more opportunities to imagine a new we during and after this time. It's been so exhilarating to have conversations that are directly from this book during the pandemic when the book is not even out. And with the social revolutions that are happening right now, I think it is even more important that we are listening, we are thinking, and we are imagining these spaces in our classrooms that can do this work. And the more that we imagine it, the more we can do it. Because as Gloria Steinem said, although I am paraphrasing if the quote isn't correct, dreaming is a form of planning. So anyway, I hope that you pre-order my book right now. This is my cat Betty. She would also like you to pre-order it right now. It is available on the UBC website as well as booksellers across the country, including a different book list, a Black-owned bookstore in Toronto. Anyway, please check out my video series and other writing that I've done, and I can't wait for you to read the book, and I'm so excited to hear how we can develop this conversation even more. Bye, everyone.